It is Afternoons with me, Helen Farmer. We're talking the future of the planet, our role in it, and looking to the creatures to help too.
Climate Conversations on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
With Dubai Holding, together for the good of tomorrow.
And so delighted to welcome to the studio Barbara Lang-Lenton. She is the director of the Aquarium and the Dubai Turtle Rehabilitation Project at the Burj Al Arab. I am so fascinated by your route to what sounds like a dream job. Where did your love of the planet and all creatures great and small start from?
Oh, thank you, Helen, for having me and for your kind words. I loved animals since I was very little, and my father and his brothers are competitive swimmers, or were competitive swimmers, and so I've always been very attached to nature and the ocean or the water, and I guess that's where it came from. And yeah.
I've been to a couple of the turtle release programs that I've seen on the beach at the Burj Al Arab, and it is so emotional.
Yes, it is.
It is. It's a beautiful thing you do. We're going to hear a little bit more about the rehabilitation that you do. Before we get into the detail of what's happening here in the UAE, I'd love it if we could kind of zoom out. And would you mind explaining the role, the importance of the ocean when it comes to climate?
So the oceans are our lungs, and they are also the biggest carbon sink we have in the planet. So the ocean produces more than half of the air we breathe, and absorbs about 25% of all the greenhouse emissions. And it also absorbs around 90% of the excess heat that we are producing through those emissions.
So it regulates temperature as well?
It does, yes.
Not to ask a very basic question. I stopped science at GCSE, Barbara. How does it produce oxygen?
It's mostly photosynthetic creatures that live in the ocean. So those are like coastal and marine habitats, just mangroves and seagrass beds, but also a lot of planktonic algae. It absorbs CO2 through that as well. Unfortunately, because of the excess emissions that we are having, the ocean is becoming more acid and hot, and that is having an impact on those creatures that are actually doing this photosynthesis. And so we are limiting the buffering capacity of the ocean to fight climate change.
I think we often overlook the importance of it in terms of, there are some really key things that we're absolutely addressing to do with, recycling and landfill and air quality and many, energy as well. Yeah. But I feel like the ocean perhaps isn't talked about in a commensurate way to how important it is. Why do you think that might be?
I guess that even though it covers very large part of our planet, not everyone is so close to the ocean, no? And so that's and I believe that people think that there is not much they can do personally to maybe help the oceans thrive, and that's a bit of a misconception, because everything we do personally, like plastic waste or any other kind of pollution, air pollution, all of that is ending up in the ocean and is having all of those impacts.
I would love to explore a little bit about the role that tourism plays in nature conservation, because when we think about tourism and travel, I think of it as often being perhaps a bit of a negative to the environment, but are there opportunities for it to be positive? There
are. So nature-based tourism is a very rapid growing industry. It has a growth rate of around 15% globally. Because, we are more urbanized, and the kind of works we do and the kind of life we live, we feel that when we are on vacation, we want to get closer to nature. And I think that tourism has especially coastal tourism, has a very important role to play on bringing people close to nature. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, humans are creatures that we mostly care about the things that we have an emotional and personal connection with. And so tourism needs to bring this connection back to nature. But at the same time, because of this, tourism has a big responsibility as well. And tourism is not only the operational part of it, it's also the master planning of the tourist projects, the construction stage, and throughout operations. And I think specifically coastal tourism needs to be more sustainable, resilient, take into consideration, obviously, climate change, and also assist in the very important task of restoring marine habitats and preserving biodiversity in the oceans.
Barbara Lang-Lenton is with us today. She's the director of the Aquarium and the Dubai Turtle Rehabilitation Project at the Burj Al Arab. Can we talk turtles?
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about the rehab work that you do and what that looks like under the waves, but also on dry land as well.
So we started in 2004, so it's a very long-standing project. Next year is our 20th year anniversary, just because there was a need. And so in cooperation with the Wildlife Protection Office, we started bringing turtles into Burj Al Arab because we had the first large aquarium with the facilities and the team to look after sick and injured sea turtles. And then because of engagement of the community through school visits that we have, turtle release events such as those that you have attended, and social media and also media presence in all of these events, people started to understand more and more about the work we do and what to do if they find a sick or injured turtle. And so we started receiving higher numbers. And then when Jumeirah Al Nasim was built, it was master planned with turtle rehabilitation pools as part of the design. Center. Right at the center of the hotel. So we have 5 lagoons that are connected to the ocean. And so the way the project works is we have hotline 800 turtle. That's 800
turtles.
So cute.
I love it. So say for example, you are out snorkeling or you're out sailing, and you do see, and I've seen Fahim Al-Kasmi's videos about finding turtles with plastic around their in their mouth and their head. There is a number you can call, and then ultimately provide the location information. So
absolutely, So that's 800 turtle.
800 turtle. I've refrained from making a turtle pun, but that's totally amazing. So tell us about what sea turtles do then to help maintain that ecosystem balance. Why are they a crucial creature?
Well, all creatures have a very important role to play to keep those ecosystem balance. In the case of sea turtles, we have, for example, green turtles that feed on seagrass. Seagrass is one of their biggest carbon sinks, and they trim the grass so they keep it healthy. And also there is a lot of fish species that depends on that feeding behavior of the turtles to get their bits and pieces of seagrass as well. Hawksbill turtles, which are critically endangered because apart from all these other threats that sea turtles have, they are also hunted for their shell. They are born here in this part of the Gulf, and they feed mostly on sponges, and sponges compete with corals for a space in the reefs. So they keep sponge growth at bay. They help coral reefs grow healthier, and around 25% of all marine biodiversity depends directly on coral reefs, specifically the fish that we eat as well. And
lastly, Barbara, for everyone listening today, what would you love everyone to do or change or try or adjust to think about our oceans first?
Just go out, go to the beach, go surfing, go scuba diving, go swimming, go out on a boat and enjoy and get close to the ocean, and then learn more about it and be part of it so that you feel connected to it.
I think that's exactly what I was about to say. It's about, by feeling connected to it that we feel emotionally invested, and then we just can't help but care more. Barbara, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
It really is absolutely worth finding out more about the Dubai Turtle Rehabilitation Project. Lots happening throughout the calendar as well. And I do urge you to check out their Instagram because the release videos are really, really something special indeed.